just wanted to take a quick minute before we get started to say please subscribe, like, and ring that bell so you get notifications. And we are going to be tracking everyone through the month of January, and you will be entered into a drawing to win a pocket penetrometer.
What are they drawing? So, what are we talking about today, David?
Today we are talking about not the pocket penetrometer. We're talking about asphalt
versus concrete.
And why concrete is superior. Duh. No, I mean we are going to talk about asphalt and concrete, and I don't know if y'all knew this, but the real name of asphalt is asphalt cement concrete.
Right.
The real name of concrete is
Portland cement concrete.
Portland cement concrete. So, the difference between asphalt and concrete. How do we want to attack this?
Asphalt is black. It's made with an oil-based binder.
I would say we do
Composition,
placement, long-term durability,
Okay.
and then what? Where you can use it? I mean, asphalt is a one-trick pony. There's no other way to say it. Ooh, I could do pavements. You can do flatware with concrete. You can make concrete throwing knives.
That is true.
As well as bridges, locks, levees,
Concrete
dams,
is
spillways.
quite versatile. Asphalt, though, definitely is a more cushioned and quieter ride.
Okay, so there
I
we
feel
go.
like that's asphalt's only
So pros and cons.
pro.
Alright. Well, yeah, let's do the first one. What was the first one?
Composition.
Composition. So we have a binding matrix.
Right.
Right?
We have a granular skeleton.
Right?
We have an air content.
Yes?
So overall, we have a composite.
Right?
It's a composite material. We're all inclined to find a composite material consisting of two or more materials, a stiff and elongated fiber embedded in a softer matrix. Extending that to asphalt and concrete, your binding matrix is your matrix, and your aggregate is going to be your stiff and elongated aggregate. And you can even consider air as some type of aggregate or part of the
Really?
composite. Sure, why not?
I would assume more part of the composite.
So the major difference between asphalt cement concrete and Portland cement concrete is,
The binder.
The binder.
and have you ever seen an asphalt binder matrix?
It's just a sticky, gooey hot mess. What were you-
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty. I think they actually teach that in university.
I feel like they do. You
feel
know,
like they do.
in your civil engineering, you have to do a lab where you do asphalt, and
It's sticky, gooey,
it's just and a hot mess.
and a hot mess. Ding! What you're looking at here is a piece of concrete that we had Steven slice open. So a concrete puck, Portland cement concrete puck. And what you see right away, this actually had a lot of air in it.
Yeah, it did. Pretty aggregate though. I like the
Very.
colors.
But what you've got right here is your binding matrix, that gray stuff, and within that you got not only the air pockets, but then you also have that pretty aggregate that Whitney was talking about. Oh, this is that first piece of concrete, and you can really see the aggregate and the hydrated cement matrix. And then you have the piece of asphalt.
Bum, 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 bum.
Bum, 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 bum. But still, what do we see?
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
See aggregate and binder.
Yeah.
And that's the key. You know, we were on a job site where I had said to a contractor, go concrete, beat asphalt, and the contractor said, oh, they're all materials. We're just trying to make the world go around.
Oh.
I said the Raiders fan to the Denver Broncos fan. Never.
Right.
You're supposed, competition is healthy, right? Doesn't Tony Robbins say that? So, what we wanted to showcase in this short video is that there really is only one difference between asphalt and concrete, right? And we've only skimmed the surface, and as you can tell, outside of the binder, the type,
They're essentially the same.
they're essentially the same. But are they? How are they priced differently?
Asphalt is way cheaper.
Is it? That used to be true.
It used to be. I don't
I
know.
would
I guess
say-
with petroleum prices now, maybe not quite as significant of a price variation.
I'm going to use a word.
Yes, please.
Volatile. The price of asphalt is more volatile than the price of Portland cement-based
Sure.
concrete. Is that true?
I agree.
Probably.
It changes. You know, petroleum is one of the primary products, so depending on the cost of gas, it can go,
Or not
Up or
the cost
down.
of gas, but
or
the
excuse
cost
me,
of
the
a
cost
barrel
of,
oil.
yeah.
Right.
It fluctuates significantly, so.
Yeah, what else is there to say about
Yeah.
that? Now that being said, getting concrete is going to be more expensive than getting asphalt, more often than not.
Yes.
Especially if you want a concrete that is stronger and lasts longer.
Right, like a good quality concrete.
Good call. So concrete, $80 per cubic yard. I honestly don't know how much asphalt is.
I thought concrete was more than 80. I thought it was like 100.
Well, residential asphalt, $80, like
Okay.
3,500
concrete, you mean?
psi. Yeah, 3,000 psi.
Yeah.
And then 10,000, 8,000 psi decking mix.
Sure.
You know, that's got to have a flexural strength of 750 psi. It's 7 days, $200 a yard, 175. Right, so it can be expensive.
Yeah.
We're gonna put a price of asphalt here. Ding. So that's how it compares. Okay, so what are the uses for asphalt?
Pavements.
Yeah,
Roadways,
it's-
driveways.
I would guess 80% plus is for highway pavement.
Right.
And then residential pavements, parks. I've seen a lot of parks
Oh
with
yeah,
asphalt
they've got little
walkways.
trails, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You see asphalt trails.
They're about a roller
Sure.
wide.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
You see it on flat roofs. You see some.
Sure.
right. Asphalt shingles too.
Yeah,
They make concrete pavers
Yeah.
for
yeah,
shingles.
true.
So just, I mean, I say it jokingly that asphalt is a one-trick pony, but horizontal surfaces.
Yeah, just
Flat.
not a lot of variability with what you could do with asphalt.
Now concrete,
There's a lot you could do with it.
pavements,
Precast, entire buildings, stadiums,
Jersey barriers, throwing knives,
benches,
plates,
countertops,
Look at the history. Coliseum,
houses,
aqueducts.
flooring,
pavements,
pavements, yes.
chickens.
No, but Patchouli makes an interesting point though. Concrete floors have like kind of become like a very trendy thing.
Trendy.
Polished,
Yeah,
polished concrete.
Thank you.
Polished concrete floors. Polished
Decorative concrete floors,
concrete countertops, concrete
Right.
tables, locks, levees, dams, spillways,
wine vessels.
wine vessels,
You would not ever see an asphalt wine vessel, would you?
the handheld penetrometer.
That's used
So-
to test concrete though.
Used to test concrete. So there are a plethora, a wide variety of examples that we can go into of what concrete can do over asphalt.
Finally, long-term durability.
Long-term durability, and that's the thing. I had an instructor who once said that the reason why we still have concrete is because of built-in obsolescence.
Concrete or asphalt?
Asphalt. I'm sorry. Asphalt is we have built-in obsolescence. Right. That sounds a lot better with asphalt, doesn't it?
Yes.
And if you don't know what built-in obsolescence, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it's this maintenance of jobs.
Sure.
That the one thing that we do know about asphalt in 3 to 5 years after placement,
It's gonna have to be replaced.
you're either repairing it,
Right.
milling the surface, and then repairing or replacing that surface, or ripping and replacing out each one.
So then the question begs, how much are you really saving when you're getting your initial savings in asphalt?
That's an argument that the folks from the American Concrete Pavement Association are actually paid to make.
Right.
You know, about concrete, that you do have that long-term durability. If we are going to just focus on pavements, let's say a highway pavement with asphalt versus concrete, you're going to have to repair and replace it 3 to 5 years. With concrete, how often do you repair or replace
Well,
it?
it depends on how good your mix is, but you could easily go, hey, there's some that are designed for 20, 30 years. So, you know what I mean?
But
If you're
that's-
doing
yeah.
every 3 years with asphalt, that could be, 7, 10 times depending on, what the surface life
But
is.
even with the worst concrete, so if your
Right.
Depends, if you got your Depends on, you can either have that concrete that lasts a long time,
Sure.
20, 30 years.
Yeah, we're seeing the design criteria for pavements now. It used to be 30. They're looking for 40-year pavements now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I feel like
Wait,
that's...
wait a second, hold on.
I just feel like
Where
40
did
is
we-
not
where did
totally
we
realistic.
Go. Okay, 40 years is unrealistic.
I
When was the first highway paved in the United States?
1918, Bellefontaine?
Bellefontaine, Ohio, Main Street. Didn't we go see it?
We did.
What year did we go see it?
When you moved back here, so 2013.
It's almost 100 years. Right? Is that how math works?
Yeah.
Yes.
Show me one asphalt highway. Now, granted, Main Street doesn't look.
It looks pretty rough.
It looks pretty rough. But then there's also the Appian Way that was built in 312 BC,
That is true.
and it's still around today.
If they are going to go for those longer term, they just need to. I feel like now we're always in such a rush to get these high strength sooner. They need to
Well,
do a lot of background work
So-
on creating the right concrete mix design
that goes into
to allow
your
for long term curing.
the thing that you had brought up, pros and cons.
Right.
What are the pros and cons? What are the pros for using asphalt?
You can get on it pretty quick. Right?
Yeah. Initial cost is lower.
Initial cost is lower.
It is a smooth ride.
It is that noise pollution.
Yep.
It is a
I mean,
smooth
it's
ride.
got a lot of cushion, so yeah, it's great.
Fairly easy to place.
With the new concretes that are coming out, I would say the placement equipment is almost the same. You do have machinery that takes a big lump and turns it into a well-formed. So, but that being said, everything we just put on the table is outside of the cost, is part of the reason, especially getting on top of the asphalt pavement sooner. With you can't do that with concrete unless you're willing to spend.
A lot of money, well, and then you're also risking the long-term durability too, because you need that just generally they're gonna be incredibly brittle, because you're putting a lot of accelerator
Wow.
in and other things, generally, not always.
It depends if you're using a gooder. I'm just going back on what you said before though. So what's the downside of use? What's so it's the cons, what's the disadvantage?
Of concrete,
Asphalt.
of asphalt, it's gonna fall apart a lot sooner, so you've got to plan to repair or replace. Terrible fumes.
Well, that's the other thing, the heat. Asphalt has to be heated to 280
Right.
degrees Fahrenheit. And the thing is, if you get colder asphalt and you try to place it, it's not going to bind
Sure.
together as well, and it might delaminate or break up, if you will. And we don't claim to be asphalt experts, by the way. This is based off of conversations that we've had and our experience, if you will.
Sure.
So, with concrete, you don't have those higher temperatures. Placing the concrete, a lot more laborious, you need a lot more people,
Sure.
a lot more babysitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the big pavers, they say, will make the pavement in the one pass.
But then you still have to have somebody come back and finish.
CDOT, they're like, paver makes pavement. That's
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
We had worked on an airport where the paver made the pavement and then people came back and they finished it.
I agree.
Yeah.
And maybe to the point where they finished it and made it worse than it would have been.
Well, that's another.
With
that's
all the
another-
water.
That's another video.
I'd never seen those hoses before. That you just drop in a bucket and it's a squirt gun. And it squirts water all over the slab.
Oh, yeah.
That's...
The day I was there, it was just garden hoses. I mean, it was just regular old red garden hose.
So that's
3/4 inch.
that's one of the other pros about asphalt. You can't do that.
Can't really
Yeah.
mess up the finishing, or just you have good concrete that comes out of the plant, but then the finishers can potentially cause a lot of headache if they're spraying a bunch of water on there to bring
Yeah.
that cream back up and be able to get a nice surface.
Right.
That could really greatly decrease the durability of your
So would you
your
say
concrete.
concrete is more susceptible to user error
Yeah, absolutely.
than asphalt is?
It's less robust. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things you can do with it, but there's a lot of things you can do with it.
Any
Good
schmuck
and
can
bad.
make bad concrete, but it takes a true artisan or a true
Absolutely.
skilled laborer to make good concrete.
Yeah, and it starts with the mix design and the testing. I mean, you've got a lot of variability in what you can do, but
So are we saying that concrete you need skilled laborers and asphalt you have any schmuck do it?
well, I'm sure there's a mix design process and everything with asphalt.
Yeah.
It's pros and cons, but I feel like concrete I feel like it is a little bit easier to mess it up. Granted, it can do a lot more, but because of that,
I don't know, I've been to a few asphalt plants and the whole process of making or heating up the emulsion and mixing it up, if you don't have everything dialed in and greased up,
sure.
you can have things go wrong
Okay.
quickly. So I think both materials, there is a learning curve, an iterative process, a plant process, a
Sure.
skilled laborer process. But to me, for the money, And for what we're trying to go for with most roads, bridge infrastructure, whatever,
Sure.
horizontal we're doing, concrete is always the way to go. You know, despite the amount of work that it takes to make it happen, and the fact that you can't get cars on top of it 2 hours after its place, is one of the things that we have to take into account. But based off of that, when it comes down to it, with concrete, you are creating something that is normally stronger.
Sure.
There can be some weaker, low-performing concretes, but more often than not, it lasts longer
Agreed.
than
Yeah.
asphalt.
Yeah, we see the wheel ruts in asphalt all the time.
And you will see those in concrete, but you'll see more like the shadows of wear.
Exactly. You don't get those divots that the rainwater runs right down the highway.
So I think, as we've said many times before, it's more relevant today. Go concrete.
Beat
It
asphalt.
beats asphalt.